Hi, I'm Linda Finkle, and today I want to talk to you about how communication skills help leaders solve problems. We're going to demonstrate to you how all problems are communication problems and how to use communication skills to navigate through these challenges on a regular basis. I own a company called Incedo Group, and we work with executives and organizations all across the globe to help them recognize the impact communication has on their business and how to use communication as a tool to improve productivity, improve performance, create the kind of culture they want, accountability, and so much more. So, good communication skills help leaders solve problems. Leaders are dealing with problems every single day, and communication is really at the root of most, if not all, of these problems. So anybody, leaders, or frankly anybody else in the organization who invests their time to develop effective communication skills will find that the path that they take when facing these problems is just easier. Not only do good communication skills help you solve problems, it actually has another benefit. It helps you prevent problems from coming up in the first place. It's kind of like having a contract of some type where you've defined the terms and conditions. It doesn't mean that nobody's ever going to sue you or there's never going to be a disagreement. It does mean, however, that there's less likelihood that that's going to be the case because you took the time to understand what was important to each other and put it in writing and agree to the terms. So, as you become more effective in your communication, you're going to find that problems are either eliminated altogether or that when they do come up, it's easier to handle. And another benefit to this is you're going to be modeling behavior and actions for others. And pretty soon you're going to start recognizing that they model what you're doing and start thinking, they're doing it this way. And without you having to say anything, they're going to adopt your communication style. So it's really going to be a win-win for everybody. There are problems that managers and leaders face every single day. And sooner or later, you're going to face one of these problems that I'm going to talk to you about, and they're all tied to communication. I've identified 6. There's clearly a ton more, but I want to start with these 6. The very first one is managing a diversely skilled team. It actually doesn't matter how successful your recruiting process is. There is very few people, very few managers or supervisors or leaders that end up in a situation where they get to handpick every single member of their team. And as a result, you will find that you have a diversely skilled team, both in terms of skills, experience, and even culture and acceptance of certain things. Less effective managers find that this challenge, the gap between those skills is overwhelming to them at times. More effective leaders realize that using great communication skills is going to be able to tie this team together. They're going to be able to talk more effectively to people with different with different skills in the process of being able to develop them individually, best use them on the project and where they fit in, and manage the cultural differences that exist between the team. The second thing I want to talk to you about is building and facilitating teamwork. One of the greatest challenges everybody I've ever worked with talks to me about is how do you build effective teams? Because truthfully, we often have people on our team that are just happier being individual contributors. They don't want to share the glory. They don't like other people. They think other people are stupid, not the way they want to do things. And so they oftentimes want to just be individual contributors rather than part of a team. You can't really have a team where you have 5 or 10 or 20 individual contributors that don't work together effectively. So one of the wonderful things about communication is that as a leader, you can use communication skills to be able to guide and inspire people into this team environment that you really want. I'm not suggesting that you still won't have problems on your team, that you won't have people that are troublemakers, that want to be individual contributors, etc. I am just suggesting, however, that effective communication skills helps minimize the impact of those and also actually eliminate some of the problems altogether. The third thing I want to talk about is inertia to change. I mean, we all recognize that people just don't like change. even I sometimes don't like change. It causes us a lot of discomfort. We feel uncertain about what all this means. There are changes that happen outside your organization, economy, market changes, technology changes, all of which you need to be thinking about and preparing for, but frankly, probably can't do too much about. And then there's a whole bunch of internal organizational changes, whether it's reorganization, whether it's role changes, adding people to the team, people leaving the team, process, new systems, new accounting, whatever. And people tend to be resistant to change. So unless you develop really strong communication skills where you can help people navigate through this change, make them aware of what's going to happen, what's the impact, what you need from them, what you're hoping they're going to be able to embrace as part of this change, you will spend a whole lot of your time in a situation where you're dealing with people's emotions, frustrations, anger, and resistance to change altogether. So if you want to be able to inspire your team and inspire the people that work around you to achieve more and welcome change, if not with enthusiasm, at least with being open to possibility, you're going to have to use great and develop great communication skills. The fourth challenge that I want to talk to you about is connecting employees with the vision of the company. When companies start out, we always start with creating a vision and a mission, and we're excited about it, and we share this with people all over the company, and we put it up on a poster somewhere and in our marketing materials. And over some period of time, it starts to diminish in terms of what we're communicating to others. We kind of forget about it, actually. We know it's back there somewhere, but we're not having regular conversations with people anymore about the mission and the vision. And people start to move away from understanding what the mission and vision is, and thus you're going to start having performance problems, etc. If you want to continually get people tied to the mission and the vision, you have to continually talk to them. I'm not talking daily or weekly. It needs to be front and center on an ongoing basis. And if it changes or the direction of the company changes, that needs to be communicated on a regular basis with people so they're aware. Help them embrace the vision and mission of the company. Help them embrace the direction that you're going and what's in front of them. And whenever there's going to be a change or there is a change, communicate, and communicate some more. The fifth topic I want to talk about here, the fifth challenge, is how do you create a culture of trust and transparency? Culture, trust, and mutual respect are only able to be achieved through really excellent communication skills. You're going to recognize that when you're communicating on a regular basis, that you're talking to people, being transparent, that there's a sense of trust that builds and a sense of transparency. And the opposite is also true, by the way. When leaders aren't communicating effectively or often enough, or closing doors, or having sidebar meetings, or taking walks with people, it creates a culture of mistrust. It develops insecurities in people. It lowers performance. It increases turnover. There's just no way around that. So communication is the only thing that will build trust and mutual respect. If you think that because you're in a leadership role, you're going to get respect and trust, you need to be rethinking that altogether and understand that the reason people trust you long-term and the reason you get respect is because of communication, regular communication, what you're saying and how you're saying to it. The last topic I want to talk about is something that's near and dear to everybody I ever worked with heart, and that's about ensuring accountability. Here's the truth. You cannot create accountability until you have commitment from other people. And the only way you can get commitment is if they are and you are aware of terms and conditions of satisfaction. And by that I mean, by when does this need to be done? What specifically needs to be done? Tomorrow is not specific enough. Tomorrow at noon, tomorrow at 5. What's the report need to look like? Specificity is what will ensure accountability and allow them to get committed. more often than not, where the challenge is not that people weren't actually committed, but what they thought they were committing to and what you thought that they were committed to aren't in sync at all. So a clear understanding of your request, including terms and conditions of satisfaction, what do they need to do by when, what's important, etc., is part of communication. And that is really where you're going to gain commitment and accountability. Communication is usually, in fact, I would say always, the cause of challenges that leaders and organizations face. We don't listen. We don't ask enough questions. We make assumptions that we assume are true, and we don't even test. We just move forward as if they're the truth without either confirming or testing if they're the truth. We assume that other people that we're talking to are listening to us, and we ignore the fact that they may not be, and we ignore the fact that the person or the group of people in front of us will have their own set of beliefs, their own set of assumptions, their own set of filters that they're bringing into the conversation that are going to color what they hear. So while good communication skills can never guarantee that every interaction you have with another human being is just going to be perfect, it's going to reduce the frequency of the problems that you have. And it's going to give you an easier way to deal with problems when they do come up. And at the very least, through great communication skills, you're going to learn whether you and the other person are in sync and what you can expect from the end of this conversation. So I would love to have you take our communication quiz. The URL is below. It's going to help you identify what communication style you are and how to further develop your communication skills. Click on the URL below and take our communication quiz. Thanks.